All right, so you're ready to take on the world of aircraft gas turbine engine overhaul technician interviews.
Absolutely. We're going to help get you prepped using some great resources from RoleCatcher.
Awesome. We've got their career guide and their interview guide to really dig into what it takes to ace these interviews.
It's a fantastic career path.
Absolutely. So this is like your pre-flight checklist, right?
Yeah.
Making sure you're ready
I'm
for
like
takeoff.
making sure all the systems are a go.
Exactly, exactly. So let's start by painting a picture of what this role really involves. Like, what are these technicians actually doing?
Yeah. So you're working on the heart of the aircraft, the gas turbine engine.
These are incredibly powerful, complex machines.
Yeah. They're intricate and vital to the aircraft, so you're responsible for understanding every single part of that.
And it's not just putting it together, taking it apart, right?
Yeah.
It's that deep understanding of how it works,
Right. And that's what those interviewers are going to be looking for.
that you've got the skills, the passion, the mindset.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's dive into those interview questions.
Yeah.
Because that's why people are listening, right?
Yes.
They want to know what to expect. So one of the first questions that I see pop up a lot is, what inspired you to pursue this career in aircraft gas turbine engine overhaul?
Yeah, and this is your time to shine. This is where you get to show your passion. And don't just say you like planes.
No, dig deeper.
Dig deeper. Exactly. Why these engines? What is it about them? The mechanics? Is it the power? Is it the challenge of getting them back to life?
Yeah, what fascinates you? And connect that passion to your own experiences, right?
Exactly.
Did you always love tinkering with engines as a kid? Were you just fascinated by flight?
Exactly, because those personal connections will make your story engaging and memorable.
Absolutely. And they're probably going to ask some follow-up questions.
Oh, yeah. Be ready for them.
What projects have you worked on?
What kind of hands-on experience do you have?
Exactly. All right, so another question you're likely to encounter is, how do you ensure that aircraft gas turbine engines are overhauled to the highest standard?
Ooh, this is about showcasing, showing them how meticulous you are, your attention to detail.
That commitment to safety?
Yeah, yes. And you have to remember, lives depend on the work you do.
Yeah.
So you need to convince them that you understand the gravity of the work you do.
Absolutely. So you might say something like, I constantly refer to the manufacturer's manual, right?
Yes. Triple check every measurement.
Because even the smallest error can have huge consequences.
Exactly.
And they might ask for a specific example.
Oh, yeah. Always have a story ready to share, something that really showcases your dedication to this work.
Did you ever stay late to get something just right?
Yes. Did you catch a mistake that somebody else missed?
You want to bring those examples to life. Now let's move on to another question that often comes up, which is, how do you troubleshoot and diagnose issues with aircraft gas turbine engines?
Okay, so this is your problem-solving skills on display.
Walk them through that process. What are your steps?
What tools do you use? How do you analyze the data? How do you stay calm when things get tough?
It's like you're a detective for engines.
Exactly. You've got to gather those clues,
You got to solve the case.
analyze the evidence. Yeah.
And always be ready with those real-world examples, right?
Yes.
Have a challenging engine issue that you solved, ready to go. How'd you diagnose it? What did you learn?
And they're going to be so impressed by that. Now, technology, it never stops evolving.
Never, especially in this field.
So how do you stay updated? They're going to want to know that.
Absolutely. They want to see that you're committed to continuous learning.
Yes. Do you have certifications? And you should mention those, especially the FAA airframe and power plant license.
Yeah, that A&P license is crucial. It's like the gold standard for mechanics and technicians. It shows you have the knowledge and skills to do the job.
For sure. But don't stop there. Mention conferences you've attended, books you've read, courses you've taken, anything that shows that you like to learn.
You're staying ahead of the curve. And they might ask you, what are some recent advancements that have caught your eye?
Be ready to talk about those because it shows that you're not just keeping up, you're really excited about learning new things. So we've covered passion, we've talked about being meticulous, problem solving, continuous learning.
Yep, all essential qualities for an aircraft gas turbine engine overhaul technician.
Yes, but we can't forget about teamwork.
Huge part of this job. You're not working in isolation.
Absolutely not. You're going to be working with mechanics, engineers, all sorts of aviation professionals.
So they might ask, how do you ensure that you work effectively with other team members?
Yeah, have an anecdote ready to share.
A specific story that really shows off your teamwork skills.
Yes. You could talk about a time when you had to work with a diverse group of people.
Under pressure, maybe a tight deadline.
Yes. And talk about your contribution to the team's success.
Exactly. Those real-life examples really paint a clear picture of your teamwork abilities. Now, before we move on to more interview questions, I want to take a quick detour and talk about RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh, it's such a cool tool.
It can be a game changer for your job search.
It really can. One of the things it can do is it analyzes job descriptions.
Like magic.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll compare that to your resume and tell you what skills or keywords you might be missing.
So you're not sending out these generic applications.
No, you're tailoring it for each specific job.
And it can help you practice interview answers.
Yes, it gives you AI-powered feedback. You can actually record yourself answering questions.
And it grades you.
Yeah, and get specific suggestions.
Like, do this, don't do this. It's amazing.
Exactly. So it's like having your own personal interview coach. All right, let's get back to those interview questions, shall we? Tell me about a time you identified a safety hazard and took steps to mitigate it.
So this is all about safety.
Huge in aviation.
Huge. And it shows your commitment to those high standards.
Yeah, they want to know that you're not just going through the motions.
You're thinking proactively, preventing accidents before they can even happen.
Absolutely. So have an example ready.
Maybe you noticed a loose tool
Yes.
or saw someone not following procedures.
Exactly. You were proactive and you did something about it.
It shows that you're really invested in safety. So we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've talked about what the role involves.
Yes.
We've tackled some common interview questions.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen how AI can be a real game changer in the job search process.
Yeah, but there's more to come. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll keep breaking down those interview questions and help you prepare for a successful takeoff in your aviation career.
Absolutely.
Welcome back to our deep dive into acing that aircraft gas turbine engine overhaul technician interview.
We're fired up and ready to keep going.
We've already covered some really important questions.
But there's a lot more to uncover.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about a question that a lot of people have a hard time with.
Okay.
Tell me about a time you made a mistake.
Oh, yeah, that one.
That one can be a little tricky, but remember, everyone makes mistakes.
Right. They have.
And interviewers know that. They're not looking for someone who's never made a mistake.
They're looking for honesty.
Yes, and how you handle those setbacks. What did you learn from it?
So pick a situation where you made a mistake, faced a challenge, but most importantly, you learned something valuable.
Exactly. Explain what happened, own up to your part in it, and then focus on the steps you took to fix it.
And how did you prevent it from happening again?
Exactly.
Okay.
So now let's go back to teamwork.
Okay.
They might ask you, how do you handle disagreements or conflicts within a team?
It's bound to come up, right?
Yeah, because this is a team environment.
Exactly.
So you're going to have disagreements, and they want to know how you're going to handle those tricky situations.
You want to show them that you can communicate effectively, listen to different perspectives, find a solution that works for everybody.
Absolutely. So you could say something like, I believe in open communication, and I always try to see things from the other person's perspective.
That's right.
And look for a compromise.
That works for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, they might also ask about specific tools and equipment
Oh, yes, absolutely. The tools of the trade.
that you use in aircraft gas turbine engine overhaul.
If you've got experience with specialized tools, diagnostic software, this is your time to shine.
Be prepared to talk about those, how you've used them effectively in the past.
Exactly.
And if you're familiar with any industry standard software or testing equipment, definitely mention that.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about a question that can be a little bit awkward.
Okay.
Salary expectations.
Uh-huh.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, this one requires you to do a little homework before you go into that interview.
Research.
Check out industry salary ranges. Use websites like Glassdoor or Indeed.
Get a sense of what's typical for this role, especially in your location.
Exactly.
And remember, salary isn't the only thing.
No, think about benefits, vacation time, opportunities for growth.
The whole package.
Exactly. So you could say something like, based on my research and experience, I'm looking for a salary in this range, but I'm also really interested in the overall compensation package.
That shows that you've done your homework and you're thinking big picture. Now, they might also ask about your long-term career goals.
Yes, they want to know where you see yourself going. Do you have a plan? Do you want to specialize in a certain type of engine?
Do you want to lead a team someday?
Exactly. And by sharing those aspirations, it shows them that you're motivated. You're not just looking for a job. You're looking to build a career.
You're invested. Now, speaking of career growth, I want to circle back to RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh, yes, it's such a great tool.
We've talked about how it can help you tailor your resume, practice your interview answers, but did you know it can also identify transferable skills from your previous experiences?
Absolutely. So even if you haven't worked specifically as an aircraft gas turbine engine overhaul technician before, you probably have skills from other jobs.
Right, you might have been a mechanic, a technician, or maybe you worked in a field where you had to pay close attention to detail.
Right.
Maybe you had to troubleshoot problems, things like that.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you connect the dots.
I love that.
So you can highlight those transferable skills on your resume.
It's like having a secret weapon, right? It helps you unlock those hidden strengths.
It does.
Okay, back to those interview questions.
Right.
Here's a classic, strengths and weaknesses.
Yes, this is all about self-awareness. So when you're talking about your strengths, choose those that align with what they're looking for in the job.
Give them some concrete examples.
Are you organized? Are you a problem solver? Are you a good communicator?
And when it comes to weaknesses, don't be afraid to talk about them.
No, everyone has weaknesses. Choose a weakness that you're actively trying to improve.
So you might say, I'm always trying to get better at managing my time. Right.
Yes. And I've started using a new scheduling system, and I'm really focusing on prioritizing tasks.
To make sure you're meeting those deadlines.
Exactly.
Now let's tackle another behavioral question.
Okay.
Tell me about a time you had to work under pressure to meet a tight deadline.
These are all about looking at your past behavior. How did you handle these situations in the past?
Because that's probably how you're going to handle them in the future, right?
Exactly.
So remember the STAR method.
Yes. Situation, task, action, result.
It's a great way to structure your answer. So briefly describe the situation, explain the task you were given, detail the actions you took, and what was the result.
Yes, and this will help you tell a really compelling story. Now, they might also ask you about safety regulations and procedures.
Absolutely. This is crucial.
Very important.
They want to see that you understand the importance of adhering to industry standards.
The FAA, yes, you need to know those.
And you're committed to maintaining a safe working environment.
For sure. So you could mention your familiarity with specific regulations, safety protocols you followed in previous roles, training you've received.
And be prepared to give an example of a time when you identified a safety hazard. What did you do?
Yes. What steps did you take?
It shows that you're proactive. Safety is your top priority.
It has to be. So we've covered a lot of ground in this second part of our deep dive, but we're not done yet.
There's still a few more nuggets of wisdom.
Yes. Stay tuned for part 3.
We'll wrap things up and hopefully send you off feeling confident and ready to ace that interview.
All right, welcome back to our final part of getting ready for that aircraft gas turbine engine overhaul technician interview.
We're in the home stretch.
We are. We've talked about a lot. But before we send you off to that interview, there's a few more things I think are really important to keep in mind.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right, so remember this interview, it's a two-way street.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's not just them evaluating you.
Yeah.
It's a chance for you to decide if this is the right place for you.
To see if you're a good fit.
Exactly.
For the company, for the team.
Yeah, so don't forget to ask some questions.
Yes, come prepared.
What do you want to know about the company?
What do you want to know about the team? The work culture.
Exactly, because it shows that you're interested and it helps you get information so you can make the right decision.
So, for example, you could ask about professional development opportunities.
Uh-huh.
Specific projects you might be working on.
Yes, what's the day-to-day work like?
That kind of thing.
Exactly. Now let's talk about weaknesses one more time.
Okay.
We talked about this before, but it's important.
Yeah.
Remember honesty and strategy. When you talk about a weakness, choose something you're working on and frame it in a positive way.
You're trying to improve.
Exactly. So you could say something like, I can get really focused on the details.
Yeah.
Sometimes I lose sight of the big picture, so I'm working on my time management.
And delegation skills.
To make sure I meet deadlines and I stay efficient.
There you go. Perfect example.
Yeah.
Now, something else that people often overlook.
Oh, what's that?
Nonverbal communication.
Ah, yes.
Your body language, your eye contact.
All of that.
It makes a big difference.
It does.
So make eye contact, sit up straight, project confidence.
Smile.
Smile.
Be enthusiastic.
It's all about showing that you're engaged, you're professional, and you're excited to be there.
Exactly. And speaking of enthusiasm, let that passion for aviation shine through.
Yes.
Talk about what excites you. Why are you drawn to this role?
Because that authenticity, that genuine passion, it's contagious.
It is. Okay, last time, I promise. RoleCatcher's AI.
I had a feeling you were going to bring that up.
It's such a great tool. It can really help you through this whole process.
The whole job search journey.
Yes, from tailoring your resume to practicing your interview answers.
It's like your personal support system.
It is. And don't forget, it can help you identify those transferable skills.
Uncover those hidden strengths.
It's a game changer, so use it. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want you to think about this.
Okay.
Now that you are prepared to talk about your skills, what questions do you think they will ask you based on your experience?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because everyone's journey is different.
That's so true.
So think about your path and anticipate those questions.
Love it.
All right, go out there and ace that interview.
You've got this. Good luck. We believe in you.